For 3 years, I applied to Goldman Sachs. Didn't matter what the role was: investment banking, sales and trading, operations. Hell, I'd even take an internship as a janitor if it meant I got to work there for a summer and put Goldman on my resume. Rejected every time. And when I finally got an interview, I turned it down. Like every other finance major from a non-target school, during internship recruitment season, I would scrub the bulge bracket bank's internship list, applying to every single one, again, from investment banking to corporate finance to sales and trading to operations. Anything that I could even see that I could remotely qualify for, I would submit an application. And if I look at my Goldman Sachs application portal, you'll see a dozen internships that I've just been rejected from or ghosted and never even heard back from. I'm not entirely sure why I wanted to be at a bulge bracket bank so badly in the first place. I think it's more of just like a prestige thing and a status symbol for when you're in college, you know, getting to post on LinkedIn, hey, I'm working at this prestigious firm, and just being able to make a lot of money. All of these things kind of are associated with these high finance level jobs at a bulge bracket bank, which, you know, no shame on anybody who's pursuing that, because I was pursuing that myself. But I think the validation that I was seeking was one of the things that I didn't realize played such a big role in guiding me towards pursuing these high finance type roles. And that's eventually where I ended up, is in a high finance type role. But I think just chasing the name brand of Goldman, just because it was also so elusive, right? Like I would apply every single year, never hear back, not even an automated rejection email or not even a hire view. It would literally just be, I apply to Goldman Sachs and I check my application portal every now and then and never expect to see anything in there. But my breakthrough in the way I finally ended up actually securing an interview was never through these random cold applies, sending my resume, making a cover letter and hoping for the best. It ended up being through a referral that I didn't even ask for. In our program, we help students land interviews that they're proud of and aligned with. If you're ready to do the hard work that gets real results, apply in the link in the description below to our next cohort. So in prior years for internships, I just kind of mentioned my strategy. I would cold apply, send in my resume, send in my cover letter, and just cross my fingers and hope that I would get something back, and I never did. And so when I finally understood what networking was, I just did a simple strategy, and instead of cold applying to internships or jobs, I started cold messaging people for networking. So I basically ended up reaching out to any alumni from the University of Pittsburgh who were in my target industry, which was wealth management. And so I came across this guy who was local to the area. He was in Pittsburgh. He worked at Goldman, and I sent him a cold note, and we actually ended up scheduling some time together. And most of these times in these coffee chats, I never really got anything from them in the sense of like a referral or an interview, just because, for one, I wasn't even asking for a referral or an introduction to a colleague at the start. For two, I felt really awkward asking for those things. But again, if you never ask, you'll never receive. So you might as well shoot your shot. But that's not to complain and say that I didn't get anything, because I really started to build a great network, and I started to understand what the industry was all about and actually know people who were in the industry doing the job that I wanted. So all of that was really great networking, and I'm super glad that I did it, even if I didn't have any fruit to bear vis-a-vis an interview. But that's not even really the framework or the lens that you should go into these coffee chats to begin with, because then you're just going in it for the wrong reasons. And so this was the most natural coffee chat that I've ever had, where at the end of our conversation, he just offered for me, hey, I'll pass your resume along to the hiring manager or the recruiter. And so that was the first time that anything really materialized in the sense of progressing towards an offer that I'd experienced in this whole networking and coffee chat game. And during that time, I was very actively networking with people. Like I probably had a coffee chat or two every couple days, which was really great cadence for keeping me on top of things and opening doors for opportunities that I would not have had otherwise. So I actually ended up receiving an email from corporate Goldman saying, hey, an employee has referred you for an interview for this position that was open. And so that was probably the first time that I ever heard back from Goldman Sachs, and I didn't even apply yet. So it was just really a game changer for me, just realizing that, hey, it is possible to hear back from this company for an interview, just because I've never heard anything back from them in the past. And with these recruiting timelines, sometimes they're really quick with getting back to you, but in this case, a couple of weeks went by before a recruiter actually reached out to me to schedule the interview. And by that time, like I mentioned, I was very active in my job search. And so I went through multiple rounds of interviews with another firm that I'm currently with today, and they already extended me an offer that I was really, really happy with and found alignment with in the types of things that I would be doing in the job. And it wasn't even in my target industry of wealth management, which is what the Goldman Sachs role would have been. But I ended up finding really the perfect mix of what I wanted out of a job in this role that I'm currently sitting in. And so when I got the phone call from the Goldman recruiter saying, hey, we got a referral from an employee, we wanted to offer you an interview, it was really difficult for me to have to say, I appreciate you guys reaching out, but I've already accepted another offer at this time, and in respect of your time and my time, I will have to decline. They took it really well, obviously, because it's Goldman. They have plenty of other people who are lined up at the door trying to break into their company in a good way. I think this transformation from being ghosted from every application that I sent to Goldman to being reached out to by a recruiter from a referral that I didn't even have to ask for really highlights and demonstrates how I have shifted my approach to recruiting and to the whole internship game as a whole. And even on a different level, it represents a growth and a shift from just applying to everything out there to being really specific and targeted in what you want and really being aligned with the role that you're pursuing. And so what I learned at the end of the day was that prestige doesn't necessarily equal fit. And if I ended up as a janitor working at Goldman Sachs, it doesn't necessarily mean that that job would have been what I wanted to do. And it's not to say that just because it is a big, prestigious firm, you're not going to enjoy the work, but rather that you should target the roles that you are searching for within these organizations rather than just mass applying to every single internship opening that they have on their website just because you want to work there. Want to learn how I built a network that sent me referrals without me even asking? Check out this video next. Let's cook. I'll see you over there.